Hey, this is Tim Reha down here with Marshall Kirkpatrick, up from Oregon, and Read Write Web.
It's true. Yep, I'm here at Gnomedex, super excited about it. And the other thing that I'm really excited about today is augmented reality.
Yeah. So
some people say it's all hype. Some people say it's right around the corner. But it turns out there's a big world of developers and academics studying the work of the developers, and I stumbled across a whole bunch of interconnected blogs this morning, all about people specializing in writing about augmented reality, which is typically understood as layers of data that are placed on top of physical reality that you can view usually through a phone in most cases.
So with the augmented reality systems, they have a marker which the camera can pick up, and then it basically virtually projects data on top of the marker, right? So we could be holding the markers here, all of a sudden you would actually see this in the virtual space to give people an idea.
There's so many different use cases that could be the case. There are apps that let you look at a cityscape through your phone, and restaurant reviews for each of the buildings that you're panning over will appear on top of them. All kinds of stuff like that.
So it's just what's cool about the augmented reality space is there's all this data, and there can be all types of different markers, from markers that actual companies put up kind of on a commercial standpoint to just all this just public.
Oh yeah, there are people working on a Wikipedia layer, so you can learn about the history and details about stuff that you're looking at through one of these systems, and then there's no end of commercial applications as well.
Yeah. So I think what's interesting is the space that we're at. Is now we have these mobile devices and the social media connections. Search is really getting to be real time, and all this stuff's coming together. What are you seeing with just that huge convergence?
Well, it is all converging, and it is all happening quite quickly. And there's all kinds of there are interesting new interfaces to consume that convergence through, but there are also some interesting analytical opportunities when you take a bird's eye view of it. I think that you're going to see a whole lot more people in the near-term future taking data from social networks, be it Twitter or Facebook or what have you, and doing some real-time analysis of trends, polls, and be able to offer more timely, more personalized content in response to what they've analyzed.
Yeah, so for companies, it's almost like you have to have a real-time data DJ monitoring things and then reacting to your audience in real time to keep up with the competition almost.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that the transition is similar to the transition that businesses had to go through when everybody got fax machines, or when people got emails. That's the plane on which some people are doing business, and I think it'll reach a tipping point sometime soon where anyone who's not actively monitoring that real-time flow of information on the web and conversations will be just as out of it as someone that you can't call on the phone.
Someone who's still using a fax machine. So what? Tell me more about on the data side, with just this huge amount of data. How are companies coping with it and turning the huge amount of data into their advantage?
Well, I don't know how well they are coping with it. It's a real point of conflict right now. The two best examples are to look at Twitter and at Facebook. And those two services have really different approaches. Twitter is pretty wide open, so there's lots of people who are creating microsites based on aggregated messages coming in. There are people who are building customer relationship management software systems that will pull in the tweets about a certain topic, analyze their sentiment in aggregate, and then prioritize.
It's like Radian 6.
Exactly, yeah, stuff like that. But then on the other hand, Facebook is much, much larger, probably 10 times the size of Twitter, but Facebook is still staying closed. They don't allow bulk access to messages that all kinds of organizations, companies, and less commercially oriented organizations could really make some interesting use of all that data if Facebook would open it up.
So yeah, it's. I wonder if there'll be a mass migration as some of these more open systems come to place, or how do you think people are dealing with just all their data being owned by really like Facebook?
Well, there's so many different trends and forms of conflict going on around this right now. It's and the data ownership is a big part.
And there's I know some guys in Oregon are creating an open source Twitter. You guys were looking at I think I saw something about the Data Pipes group creating an open source Yahoo Pipes. Mm-hmm. What's going on there?
Well, I'm not sure what the particulars of that project are, but in general, I think we're seeing lots and lots of people who are getting excited to build their own versions of services like Facebook and Twitter and Yahoo Pipes and URL shortener.